Welcome.
We ain't afraid of no ghosts.
This is your number one podcast for ghoulies and ghosties and long-legged beasties. Bringing you everything you need to know about things that go bump in the night and interviewing the personalities behind them. Make sure your doors and windows are locked. Now, here are your hosts, your ghost hosts, Scott and Julie.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Paranormal Project. It is so good to be back with all of you. Julie and I are not dead, which is a fantastic thing. We are here and able to talk with you live and not through, as Lawrence said earlier, through an Ouija board. So that's
the rumor of our demise has been grossly exaggerated.
So true. How you doing, Julie? You feeling better?
I'm doing really well. How about you, Scott?
Good. We have a fun guest tonight, and I can't wait to chat with him. But I do want to run one thing by everyone today. We are hosted through KGRA radio here in the United States, and they are running a special. So if you love the Paranormal Project, they have a lot of shows just like ours. There's Andrea Perrin's show, and there's a ton of them. You can get a membership, so you have access to all the shows and the library of all the shows. And because you are a guest of the Paranormal Project and a viewer, you get a special discount if you use the promo code SPOOKY1, and that's the number one, you're going to get 30% off a membership, a month-to-month membership with KGRA. If you use the code SPOOKY12, you get 30% off an annual membership. So remember that if you're interested in KGRA and you want to sign up and have access to all of their shows, their full library, whenever you like, that's how you do it. And now let's get on with the show. We have a guy that I have been chatting with for a while now, and I'm really excited to have him here. His name is Lawrence, and he is the founder of MONDOdocs, and he is a digital creator on YouTube, creates these paranormal documentaries, and he's been to some fun places. So I think we'll have a nice conversation with him. Lawrence, welcome to the show, my friend. How are you?
Good.
There we
are. Good. Thanks for having me. I'm glad you guys are not dead. This is great. I'm glad you're alive. If you are dead, then this is groundbreaking investigating going on right now.
Can you stay dead if you are dead?
You stay dead.
Yes. How many fingers?
And I will say, get out.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. So typical of a ghost.
Yeah. And then one of us will swear at you, and it'll be just like the real thing.
Amazing.
Yeah, just amazing. So tell me, we were talking a little bit before the show. Tell me about MONDOdocs and how you got started with that, and what have you been doing with the channel?
Well, MONDOdocs started back in 2019, back in Pittsburgh when I lived there, and the idea was to focus on things that are weird, obscure, just more obscure things in Pennsylvania and in New Jersey and so forth, and every now and then maybe dabble in the paranormal, maybe, which is funny because the first video that I did for Mondo was at a haunted lake, which little did I know that would set, what became MONDOdocs eventually down the road. That was in late 2019. And I filmed a drag show back in early 2020, going to do a documentary on this pretty edgy drag artist in downtown Pittsburgh. But as we all know, 2020 happened and everything kind of shut down. So I was kind of stuck thinking, what do I do with the channel now? My plans for it kind of got all over the place and halted. So, moved back to Eastern Pennsylvania, and I did some, I thought, what can I do video-wise that doesn't involve people? Cemeteries, and unboxing videos of just strange things that can get online. Eventually, I went to Gettysburg in August and thought, okay, let's go there and do a video and see how that goes. And at the time, it was my highest viewed video on the channel. So I thought, well, first off, this was a lot of fun doing. And Gettysburg, it was my first time in Gettysburg. and it was amazing. So I thought, all right, well, let's keep doing more haunted videos and see how they do. And yeah, I just the channel kind of became what it is today, a paranormal exploration channel with a few abandoned location videos thrown in there. But Gettysburg is what really kind of set things in stone for me when it came to MONDOdocs.
So do you, when you go, do you have a team with you that films, or are you kind of it?
I'm kind of it. Most of the time, I'll bring my friends along. A lot of my videos, they're my friends. And just, yeah, I mean, some of them investigate as well. But sometimes they just come with me and they just want to be in the video. I want them in the video.
Do you find it difficult to film and be in it? I mean, how did you manage that?
Well, so in the beginning, when I started doing cemetery videos and ghost videos, it was kind of like a vlog style. I thought, all right, well, let me be in front of the camera as well and film and see how that goes. And I did that for a while. Then I thought, well, let's move things into a different direction and start doing voiceover stuff. So I would be more behind the camera than in front of the camera, vlog style, which is easier. Doing voiceovers is kind of because I do a lot of takes in voiceovers, but also do a lot of takes in front of the camera too. So it's choose your battle. But I think it's easier to do. Well, I mean, it depends on your definition of easy, but I do prefer doing voiceovers for the most part.
So you do it in production afterwards. You go through and you film, and then you can go back and add your voice.
Yeah. So I film, edit, do voiceovers myself. So
nice.
And I went to school for filmmaking, so I do have experience in that as already. So I'm not a complete stranger to doing videos.
That's great. So I know you've been to Gettysburg clearly, and we had talked a little bit about the Shanley Hotel, which is one of my favorite spots. Where is your favorite place to go so far?
Well, Gettysburg. I would say the Farnsworth House, which is an old 1800s era inn. It's an old brick building, and during the Battle of Gettysburg, like many other buildings, it was used as a field hospital. But it was also used as a sharpshooter's nest. So during the battle, you had sharpshooters up in the attic shooting south of the town at Union soldiers and soldiers in the town itself. So the town saw a lot of violence, especially around the Farnsworth House. But that place, when I first went to Gettysburg to do a video, that's where I stayed. And I have to say that was, I think, my first real paranormal experience that day or that night. Of course, I didn't film it, but I was in bed and I felt pressure on my foot, and I was kind of awake. I was kind of sleeping-ish, and I thought maybe I imagined it, and then it happened again a few seconds later. I'm like, okay. I'm still imagining. Maybe I'm actually dreaming. Then it happened again, but it was like very heavy. I thought, I freaked out big time. But to this day, I'm not sure if I was just imagining it or it really happened. But before that, we heard a music box go off in an empty room. But either way, that building sucked me in. Like I was hooked, and I've gone there I think 8 times now. And every time I go there, it's just a pretty intense experience.
The Farnsworth house is very intense. I was there with Barbara Halliday. We got some amazing evidence there. What I found so interesting was the side of the building itself still has quite a number of bullet holes in the brickwork that they leave there. They told us the number of bullet holes because they actually counted them. I just don't remember what.
I forget the number too, oddly enough. I think there's so many goddamn times. But
right.
Yeah, it's amazing. And you don't see that in that many buildings. I mean, granted, during that time, there weren't that many buildings to begin with. It was a very small little village-esque location. Even the Jenny Wade house has a few bullet holes on the side as well. You don't forget.
Crazy active. We were there just doing a historical tour, and we've got some photos. We went down the end of the tour ended in the cellar, where there is kind of a fake casket with a fake Jenny Wade body.
Yeah.
Well, I think sometimes that's a trigger object. So I was with Barbara and Joanne, and we sort of stayed in the back of the line as people were filing out, and we stayed in the basement, and we took out our EMF detectors, and we were just just doing things, and we were actually getting yes and no responses using the meter down there, and we were there for a good 20 minutes or so. It was absolutely amazing.
It's a crazy place. And I filmed a documentary in Gettysburg called The Hauntings of Gettysburg. We filmed at the Cashtown Inn, Jenny Wade House, and the Farnsworth House. And when I was in the basement of Jenny Wade getting some Beerville footage, I saw like the little mannequin with a blanket over it, to represent the corpse of Jenny Wade. And if you peek under that blanket, it's a mannequin with like very realistic looking eyes. And I wasn't expecting that at all. So
I'm like a dead body.
It does.
Really
So I was
does.
by myself. I'm like, well, let me just peek under real quick for 2 seconds. I was like, holy God, this is the most terrifying thing about the house. But yeah,
I think that would trigger something. I honestly think that triggered some activity for us. Yeah, it's a crazy place. But like you say, I think during the battle itself, there were only a few houses there, like the Jenny Wade house. And then it's kind of diagonal. If you walk diagonally, you hit the Farnsworth Inn right there.
Yeah. And don't forget, Jenny Wade, the story is that she was killed by a sharpshooter from the Farnsworth house. Which a lot of people debate. They say it's not possible, but I think they look at Gettysburg today and think, well, all these buildings are in the way. How can that be possible? It's like, well, that big bulky motel down the street was not there during the Battle of Gettysburg. So it's possible, I think. But the Farnsworth House, that place is nutty. I mean, last time we were there, we basically had the building to ourselves. And, we're on the staircase investigating up to the attic where the sharpshooters were.
Yes.
And we're just sitting there investigating, talking. And all of a sudden you just hear like a watch, like a woman just whispering watch. And my friend Kristen, she goes, did someone just say watch? And we all heard it in real time. You have it on recording too. We have it recorded. And it's clear as day. And we have someone saying, get up the telephone. We have someone saying, you're a traitor. And that's all in one night. That was on Valentine's Day. We went there. It's my birthday, so I wanted to go to the Farnsworth house. My birthday. Yeah, that place, man, it's wacky. It's a wacky.
The whole place is just charged. It's just absolutely amazing. You just walk in that area, and it's just the energy is just charged.
And it's like every building has something. That's the thing. Like every building you go into, something happens or it has something lingering around it. It's really unique and impressive.
Right. Did you get a chance to investigate the orphanage?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that place was terrifying.
Yeah, we didn't get in there. That's why I have to go back, but I'd love to hear about that. Yeah,
the orphanage was great. I was in the basement by myself and an old friend of mine and the tour guide. It was just the three of us in the whole building. And they're upstairs doing their thing. And you can hear them muffling, like talking, through the floorboard. And in the video footage, which is on my YouTube channel, you can hear I'm investigating, I'm asking, trying to contact whatever child is there, because it was an orphanage, and you just hear a man go, "This is silly." So I guess he was not fond of me trying to talk to whoever's here.
Right.
And in real time, I heard a disembodied whisper down the hallway towards the pit. Where they used to, lock up children when it was an orphanage. So yeah, that place it has a dark history. That place,
yes.
Yeah. But it's another active location in Gettysburg. So
I do need to get down there. I have never been.
You would enjoy it.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, now in the summertime, it's kind of it's a tourist chaotic zone, yeah. But it's in the winter. That's the best time to go because you go to the place like the Farnsworth house in the wintertime, nobody's there. No noise pollution outside because there are no tourists. No one is staying at the building. To get the whole building to yourself, essentially. And it's just, yeah.
Well, we were there bike week, so.
Well, that's not a good time for EVP sessions.
Right.
Yeah.
Wait, I think I have an EVP of a motorcycle. Yes, it's a Harley Davidson. I hear thunder.
Wow, it's a ghost of a Harley Davidson.
That's right, exactly.
Yeah, that's amazing. And remember, Julie, we were talking there was a gentleman that we met who had that picture on the bridge. What's the name of that bridge?
Sachs Covered Bridge.
Yes,
So you have two bridges there that are supposed
the
to be haunted.
Sykes.
Sachs.
Sachs Bridge.
Sachs Covered Bridge. Then you have
Yes.
the Eisenhower Bridge, which they call the suicide bridge, but no one ever committed suicide there.
Right.
It's one of the urban legends. Because Gettysburg is very haunted, but there's a lot of urban legends that go along with with
Absolutely.
the town. Yeah, it comes with the territory.
Yes. This gentleman, he caught an image. He was taking a photo of his team, and there was an image of something at the other end of the bridge. It didn't. Julie saw it. It looked like a demon, complete with horns and everything.
It honestly did. It looked like a demon. And he didn't notice the photo when he took it. And he noticed it later. One of his teammates had pointed it out to him. And basically what had happened, the man's name is George, he came home with an attachment. And he had that non-human attachment with him for well over a year. And anything, he had said, he had a wonderful life, a job of 20 something years, always healthy. And within the year, he lost his job. He became extremely ill. I mean, it was very, very bad until he finally went to a spiritual advisor, and he was able to be released from it. But it was pretty bad.
And he believes he got it from the bridge in Gettysburg, or
he is assuming that he did, because
it's not like, it wasn't one of those things like you look and say, well, that sort of looks like a person. I mean, you know how like your eyes can play tricks with you, or it's sort of like that. No, this was a figure standing sideways up against the support, and the thing had horns. I've never seen anything like it in my life.
That's crazy.
It was terrifying. It really was.
So a lot of people say that. I mean, I'm a pretty skeptical person. I would say I'm at 90% always skeptical on investigations. So I believe the bridge. There's a lot of stories around it. I think the forest around it has something attached to it. Because you hear people talk about the bridge a lot, but you talk to the right people, and it's the forest around it that is pretty active. Unfortunately, whenever I've gone to Sachs Bridge, there have been people there hanging out, partying, just doing whatever. So that's on me, going on weekends in the summertime like an idiot. But I do plan on going hopefully soon to film the bridges at night on a weeknight. But now it's warm out, so we'll see how lucky I am. But last time on Valentine's Day, we were at the Farnsworth house, but we went to the bridges at night, and there was no one there, which is perfect. And we filmed, walk around the woods as well in the darkness. I mean, I never had any luck at that bridge. None. You hear all these stories, and I'm like, come on, man.
Right. I was actually on the bridge, and I'm a psychic empath, and I didn't feel anything. However, when Barbara and I walked off of the bridge and started walking into the forested area, I got the most uncomfortable feeling that I had said to Barbara. It was Barbara and Joanne. I had said to them, if you two want to continue, go ahead, but I just don't feel right here. And it was just kind of my spidey senses going off. And they kind of looked at me, and I said, look, maybe it's because I'm a city girl and I don't walk in the woods.
That's fair.
Bad stuff happens in the woods.
Okay.
I don't walk at night in the city either. But I said, I'm just not feeling right here. And so we turned around and we went back. But I kind of, in retrospect, understand what you're saying. There's, I think, some hinky stuff goes on in that forest.
Yeah, and it's always the forest. I mean, my most recent video, The Town That's Cursed, it's a documentary about a little small village not too far from here. My friends and I, we went on the Appalachian Trail, which, it's a pretty big trail. It was from Maine to Georgia to Maine. And there's a lot of energy on that trail, a lot of stories of hauntings and so forth. So we went on the trail to film. And that portion of the trail I've gone on many times during the daytime. Never at night, but always during the daytime. So naturally, we went at night to film. And I was not expecting a thing to happen. I was like, all right, well, let's go film. and we'll see what happens in the woods at night. And it was wonky. We the three folks, my three friends I was with, they claimed they heard like a whistling in the distance. I didn't hear it. I did hear a man's voice, which went on for 2 seconds and then stopped. And we were in the middle of the woods. And I know the area very well. There's maybe one house down on the mountain on the side, and we were far enough from it where we shouldn't hear any noise pollution at all. But we heard a man's voice right there in the woods. And my friend Sean, he had sounds crazy, but we think he had a little pebble thrown at him. You can hear it in the video too. It's like a little like, and I'm like, what the hell is that noise? And Sean's like, I just got hit by a rock. And, the theory is that whenever something's thrown at you, it's either a squirrel throwing nuts at you because it's cranky, or it's Sasquatch related. And that's a whole other rabbit hole we can get down. But it was a weird night. It was weird filming there. We do want to go back though and investigate further. We were there on the trail for me a little over an hour filming and investigating. But weird things do happen in the woods.
I'm telling you, a guy from Philly's going out into the woods. You obviously have not seen Deliverance.
Oh, I have. I hear banjos. I'm out. But it's wacky things do happen in the woods though. It's fun. Let's watch out for bears. It'll be fun.
Bears, yeah, right. No worries at all. Honestly, I'm not worried about the spirit in the woods. I'm worried about the humans in the woods.
It's the people in the woods. You got that right.
That's it, exactly.
Yeah, I was telling them, I'm like, I hope we don't come across another person in the woods, because I'm like, I'd be more freaked out if I came across a random person on the trail as well, like in the darkness. Like, oh, what are you doing here? But I'm sure they'd also be freaked out by three people with bright lights, like just talking to a motion bowl or a rampart on the ground. Like, what are these people doing? What is going on? What is this? What ritual did I just come across?
Exactly.
They go back home to their friends. You won't believe what I saw.
Right, exactly. They're these lights. I don't know. And then before you know it, they're going to be assuming that, you're conjuring Satan in the woods.
Well, that or the man's voice we heard, whatever, some poor guy just camping, he's hiking. He's like, I'm going to camp out. This is a perfect quiet spot. No one's going to bother me. And then four idiots walk in the woods, yelling, not yelling, but like talking to like, hey, who's here with us? And this and that. He needs to go back home and be like, yo, those woods are haunted. I heard
those are haunted. Yeah. And he's scared by himself. He starts whistling because he's really scared.
Yeah, that's how these stories begin. The people, they hear other people and they go, oh my God, this is.
Then before you have it, you have Jeff Bellinger going on Channel 2 and telling the story.
Oh man.
Crazy.
Always a good time though. Always fun.
Yeah.
Good times. So the other place you like, because I just love this place too, is the Shanley Hotel, and we had a chance to be there this last year. You're going back again next month.
Yeah. My first time there was back in November of 2021, and I my friend Sean, who had the rock thrown at him in the woods, he's gone there many times before that, and he was telling me, he's like, when you go, you're gonna love it. That place does not disappoint. It's so active. He has a crazy EVP of a gunshot sound. Him and his friend were doing I think they were doing a Ouija board session in one of the rooms, and they had an EVP session rolling as well, or an audio recorder rolling as well, and they listened to the playback, and it sounds like a revolver being shot. It made no sense whatsoever. I think it's on the Shanley Hotel website in the evidence page, but it sounds like a gunshot going off. It's so strange. But I think I was introduced to, like some of the best EVPs at the Shanley Hotel when I first went. Yeah, because Kelly, the owner, she was like, yeah, we're in the basement. We're doing an EVP session. She's like, all right, well, let's do some recordings. And it blew my mind. And I just kept going back there. And the last time I went there was with my partner, Sarah, and we were just we were investigating, and we had the whole building to ourselves. It was me and her, the owner, and her husband, and and her husband isn't really engaged in that kind of stuff. So throughout the night, it was pretty active, great. And then we realized, all right, it's getting pretty late. We had a good night. Let's just go to bed. So we, getting ready for bed in the bordello part of the building. And if you know the building layout at all, Kelly, the owner, and her husband stay at the other side of the building. The bordello is on the other side. So it was just me and my partner hanging out, and we got into bed and turned the light off. And mind you, whenever I go there, nothing ever happens when I'm in bed. It's like my safe zone. I'm like, all right, I've always had a nice, peaceful slumber there. Nothing ever happens. And we're in bed, lights off, and we just hear the loudest knock on the door. Like someone just came up to the door and just knocked on it. And startled me, startled her. It was just so beyond loud and obvious that someone was at the door, but obviously no one was there. We opened it, and just darkness. And that was. And I told people
I'm
that.
telling you, it was most likely the bordello madam telling you your time is up.
there's so in the bordello you have Maddie and Anna, the former ladies of the night, and then you have Frank, who's the bouncer. So we think it was Frank knocking on the door saying, "Hey, yeah, time's up.
Time's up.
You're done. Get out." And it was funny because we checked the time right afterwards, and it happened exactly at 3 a.m. And I never believed the whole 3 a.m. witch an hour thing, but it happened exactly at 3 a.m., which was pretty interesting. But the Shanley, though, if you want good EVPs, that is the place to go to. Like that, it's amazing.
Adam. Lawrence, you know about Adam. Adam is the serial killer. That is not you.
Adam, I did a whole video on Adam. And he's one of the more interesting spirits there, I think. He's one of the more aggressive ones. And his room is the most aggressive room in the whole building. The heaviest one.
He threw a flashlight off the chair. It went flying across the floor.
I believe it. Yeah.
And we have that on. We don't have the video. We have the audio. I would love, if you're interested, I caught him on EVP, and it is the clearest EVP I've ever heard in my life. We were using like a spirit box, but and then we were recording the spirit box session. He came through over the spirit box and imprinted onto the recording. So he didn't come through the spirit box.
Gotcha.
But I'd love to play that for you because it's the most incredible. Now, give me 1 second. Let me just go in here and put this on here. Just 1 second.
Yeah, Adam he's very vocal when he wants to be. And it's funny because it'll be quiet in that room, but you can just feel that, like the heaviness of it linger in. And it's something. And yeah, I've gotten some weird EVPs in that room. Just bonkers.
Yeah. Now this is actually on our YouTube page, the Paranormal Project, but I'll just play it for you here. It's very, very quick.
Mm-hmm.
Is this Adam's room? I'm Adam.
Hello.
Hi, Adam.
What?
Crazy, huh?
Is that crazy? Yeah, I'll do it one more time because it's like you can't even believe it when you hear it.
Stop. Mm-hmm.
Is this Adam's room? I'm Adam.
I'm Adam.
Hi, Adam.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, like it was like he was in the room with us, and Julie was in bed because she said, "Oh, it's a quiet night. I'm going to sleep." And then all hell went. I
was tired, so I just sort of set my safety in my bedroom, and I had a wonderful night's sleep. And then the next morning, they're telling me that I'm apparently using the phone in the middle of the night, calling them.
And I have that too, and I'll play that for you. But the phone we could hear with our ears. Now we're on the 3rd floor. There's no phone up there. There's
not. There's no power up or nothing. It's
nothing. But we heard the phone with our ears. Check this out. This is wild. Hold on 1 second.
Sounded like a telephone.
Somebody calling somebody?
Julie.
Is there anybody?
Weird.
And the phone's ringing. Like the phone's ringing. There's no place for a phone to ring, and we're hearing that with our ears. I mean, it's crazy.
It's a strange place, and the thing is, like, there's nothing I mentioned before we went on in life, but spirits come and go there. Like that place, I think Kelly said there are about 50 or more spirits that linger and come and go throughout that place. I mean, it was a hotel. I mean, that place has so much history. It was a biker bar back in the 70s. It was a bordello. It was a gambling joint. It has an amazing history, and I think the evidence shows that it has quite an extensive history, because it's crazy. It's a crazy place.
It's a crazy place.
Yeah.
And the seance room is awesome too, because when you go there, you begin the night in the seance room, and then they'll take you down to the basement, and then you can do free roam, because usually the seance room and the basement are locked up after you're done with them. You can't really access them. However, the seance room is now complete. You can have access to that room all night. So when I go next month, I'll take pictures and I'll put them on Facebook. But the seance room is done being renovated, so now you can go in there all night.
Oh, okay. Because when we were there, it was still under renovation, so we
Right.
were just in there for a very short time. Yes. Oh, that's cool. Wow.
Yeah, go on the Shanley Facebook, and I think they put pictures on there as well. I think they made it like a speakeasy vibe kind of aesthetic, so it looks good.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I definitely want to go back.
Yeah.
Just-
Yeah, I saw also that you have been on the USS Salem, so you've been up our
Yes.
way.
Yeah, I did go there. That was I have no words to describe that. It's just you talk about history, and being on a haunted naval ship is as historic as you can get. But that trip was a lot. We went to the Isaac Morris house. We went to the Murdoch Whitney house. Yep. And the Isaac Morris house is really interesting. It's a creepy little toy museum / house. And we were investigating the one toy room, and which is me, my partner, and one of the staff members there, one of the caretakers, Tom. We were investigating, and I do the whistle game. I whistle and see if they can whistle back. It's my favorite thing to do. And we're in the room investigating, and I whistle, and you just hear someone whistle back in the room. It was weird, because that rarely ever happens. I'm rarely ever successful with that. But the Isaac Morris house is definitely interesting. The Murdoch Whitney place across the street. Have you guys been there before? That big old, that place creeped me out more than other places. Mind you, it's we had most of the lights off, but you go upstairs and it's pretty open up there on the second floor.
Yeah.
All the doors are open and none of the lights are on. So you just peek room out, it's just like you're expecting to see something. It was like a haunted house attraction. I'm like, oh, no, what am I doing to myself? So
I remember, because I used to live out that way. I remember when that little old lady, I think she lived to be like 102 or something, and she used to live there all by herself. That whole great big house.
No, I'm good. It's a beautiful place. I do want to go back there, but I was up there on the second floor by myself filming, because that's usually what I do. I'll go with either with a partner or with a few friends. But what I usually do is I'll go by myself somewhere in the building and just do a walkthrough and film that and see what happens. And then afterwards, we'll film some investigating. It's a nice format that I got used to, and it makes it creepier for the viewer, because they're just kind of watching this kind of hopefully immersive experience of me walking with them through this creepy haunted location.
Right.
And sometimes you hear some things, not in real time, but in the footage. And which has happened a few times. I'll be walking through with my camera. I won't hear anything in real time, and then I'll be editing footage, and I'll be like, "Who just whispered?" Like in the footage, which is me on the second floor somewhere, walking around, doing whatever, filming. But yeah, Murdoch Whitney was definitely creepy. Like it freaked me out. And I heard the loudest whisper ever. It was by one of the staircases. I just hear like a hey, and it was that. And I rarely get freaked out because I'm such a skeptic, but that freaked me out.
And yet I feel like the Isaac Morehouse is just a little bit creepier.
I don't
It's
know.
just
I
high. You know what I mean?
We felt that when we were investigating, when Scott and I were investigating, we went through, if you walk through the toy room,
Mhm.
there is a room off of that. And the night that we were there, the air in that room was so charged. And it was, I don't remember the EVPs we got there, but it's, that feeling, I am not alone in this room. I mean, it was just absolutely amazing. There was definitely the spirit of a man that was in that room, who had died early, possibly by his own hand, not 100% sure.
He did.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's and I got the vibe that he was still there, lingering.
Oh, he
around.
was.
Yeah.
Oh, he absolutely was. When the night that we were there, anyway, because, like you say, the toy room's kind of creepy because it's sort of dark.
Yeah.
And, there are all these shadows and toys, and you're waiting for the dolls to jump out at you, that type of thing,
Yeah.
The rocking horses to start rocking on you. And that was okay. But I just found that room off to the side there just to be so creepy.
It's a creepy place. I really wasn't that unsettled in that place. Like, unlike Murdoch Whitney, I was unsettled beyond belief. But Isaac Morris, yeah, we were we finished the night investigating, got into bed, and we're falling asleep. And we're the only ones in the whole house. That's just the two of us. And we were staying in Alan's room. And because you have Alan's room, you have that one room to the right, and then one to the left, and then you have the staircase area and all that landing. And we just hear a creaking on the footsteps a little bit. And my partner, she's like, "Did you hear that?" I'm like, "Yep." Good night. Just fall asleep. I sleep so peacefully in haunted places. I fall right to sleep. I used to not be able to. Like the Farnsworth house, I used to have such a hard time falling asleep in that place.
Where was that? Which one?
The Farnsworth house in Gettysburg. Like
Farnsworth house. Oh yeah.
Like I would just not be able to sleep in that place. I would have a hard time expecting to see something or someone by the bed just staring at me or poking me like, "Hey, get up." But now I just, like a baby, I just get into bed. I say good night to the spirits, and I just, don't bother me tonight, please. And then I go to sleep.
Last
So,
time we were all
Honestly, yeah, sometimes that works. I mean, I know if I'm sleeping in a place like that, I just basically voice out loud. I've been here, I've chatted with you,
Yep.
I've investigated, I have, used the utmost respect. So please now respect my privacy and let me go to sleep. And usually it works.
yeah, I wait till I'm alone when no one can see me do it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, in the bathroom. Listen, spirits, don't mess with me tonight. Before I go back tomorrow morning, just shh, let me sleep. It works. But
It's funny, it was the last time we were there at the Shanley. She came around the next morning, and I forget which one of them it was. And she said, "It was really interesting. I went out this morning and took a walk around, and you all had your lights on. Did you all slept with your lights on last night?"
I did that a few times. I think, well, maybe once or twice, but the Hoover House in Waynesboro, Pennsylvania, which is owned by Steve and Pam Berry, who run the Gettysburg Bash, that little paranormal convention down in Gettysburg, which is amazing.
I think that's in July, isn't it?
Yep. This year's in July. But they're amazing people. Love them to death. So they have a bed and breakfast south of Gettysburg called the 1912 Historic Hoover House. And it was an assisted living home at one point. It was a restaurant twice. But now they own it. They run it as a bed and breakfast. And it's pretty haunted. When I first went there back in the spring of 2021, I went on a Monday. I booked a room. Great. I was the only one there, the only guest there, which I don't know how I keep doing that. But so on the way there, I was pretty skeptical. I'm like, all right, they just opened this place up, and it was my second time meeting Steve and Pam. So I'm like, all right, we'll see how this place is. I hear from other people that it's very active, and they've seen some things there. So I'm like, okay. So I drive, and I get there, and the place is beautiful. It's a beautiful, like big old kind of a mansion looking house, beautiful. Walk in, and my feelings changed completely. I was no longer skeptical of that location, because you feel like you walk in there and everyone's just watching you, but it's just you. And the story is that it's haunted by the former residents when it was an assisted living home. So you had these elderly spirits who are kind of lingering around, and some people get pinched, some people get poked. The EVPs there are very, they tend to curse quite a bit sometimes. Cranky spirits is what I'd call them. But yeah, Pam gave me a tour of the house, and I'm like, this is amazing, but holy shit, I feel like we're being followed. And I never had that feeling ever. And still to this day, I never really had that feeling of being followed like I do, or still do at the Hoover House. When you go there, you feel like you're just not alone in any room. And it's not a malicious feeling. It's not a scary feeling at the Hoover House. It's more like, okay, someone's there with you. Don't know who it is, but just remember, when you use the bathroom, you're not pooping alone. It's you feel like someone's there just with you, and you just you're like, hey, offer me that toilet paper. But like but that place, it's amazing now, and we had a lot of good. I've been there quite a few times since then, and EVP, it's definitely a good EVP place. The basement is pretty active, good for motion balls, REM pods. And it's funny because the basement is a completely different feeling than the rest of the house. They don't think the spirits go down to the basement. It's a completely different realm of spirits. It's interesting. So check it out if you can. If you go to Gettysburg or Pennsylvania, just go to the Hoover House.
Definitely. I have to stay at least one night, and then I'll go to the cheap place that used to be the Howard Johnson's. That big place that you talked about next to Jenny Wade's house.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that big bulky place, yeah,
big bulky place. But it's it's clean, it's cheap, and you're there.
Right. But that's right. My point was that the lights being on, because when I stayed there, Steve and Pam was like, all right, we're gonna go to our shop now. We'll see you later. And I was in the house by myself for 2 hours, walking around filming, and I was on edge. When I say I was on edge, I was on edge.
Really?
The clock went off one time. I freaked out, which is on camera. I jumped like 10 feet in the air. It's a clock that goes off. That's what it does. But that night, they came back, and because they lived there too. Them and the little small dog named Chuck. And I was in the room, the lights on, and the TV on throughout the night. And the thing is, I imagined it. Maybe I was freaking myself out. But I think I did hear like footsteps outside my door a little bit, and some creaking here and there. But our place it's fascinating.
When you try to sleep, you could tell yourself it's just the TV. That's
all. It's the TV. Yep. Just turn on some Netflix and hang out. Yeah.
And that was alone too. Your mind can kind of
exactly. Yeah. And that was the spring of 2021. So that was still pretty early-ish when it came to investigating for me. So I only did a few maybe haunted places before that. So going there by myself was like, what did I get myself into? Right. But I'm here with my camera. I gotta make a video. So, but I'm doing a thing this summer called Alone and Haunted. I do go to haunted inns by myself. So this is place in Western New York. I'm pretty sure you're gonna have the whole place to yourself, which I plan to do. But it's just gonna be me with a camera and do that, and doing that at the Farnsworth House too. Going to be by myself, and hopefully the date I'm looking at right now, you can see the rooms that have been booked. Nothing's been booked yet, so I'm hoping it stays that way. So when I go there, I'd be the only one in the whole building, which I'm going to hate, by the way. Yeah. But at the same time, I'll love it. But yeah, that's the plan right now for the summer. Is do a thing called Alone and Haunted, where I just go to different haunted inns solo and regret every single thing.
You're the only guest. So the thing is, if you hear a voice or you hear footsteps, you cannot just discard it.
Exactly.
No,
yeah,
that's right. But I'm not too keen on meandering these dark. We were at Madison Seminary, and have you ever been there?
No, I've heard of it though.
Oh my God. It's probably the creepiest place. I don't even like going to the bath. I mean, normally I don't want anybody holding my hand when I'm going to the bathroom, but it came close to asking a couple of times because this place is like really creepy. I mean, it's just dark and I don't want to walk around by myself. I wouldn't feel comfortable.
And you
know?
basically have to leave what we call the safe room to go down
Yeah.
a long, dark hallway to get to the restrooms.
To get to the
And so
restroom.
there's a couple
Oh, that
of,
sounds fun.
which is fun. So when, a couple of times when Cindy and I would say, so I'm just going to go down and use the bathroom, want to come with me? I was like, or I would, oh, I'll happen to go with you too. And the next thing we know is Scott saying, well, if you ladies are going to go, I don't want you going by yourself. So I'll
Oh, boy.
walk with you.
Oh
And
man.
it's sort of like we were on to him, but we just said, thank you so much. You're such a gentleman.
I'm doing this to protect you, ladies. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right, exactly.
I'm probably a bigger chicken than any of them, but that's just kind of how it is. I mean, I'm not a chicken, I mean, I don't get like that when we're investigating, but I just don't like going off on my own. And there's nothing in there. I mean, it's not like there's another person in there. It's dark and I don't want to see shadows and things crawling around. That's the thing,
Well, that's why you go. You want to see shadows and things
However,
crawling around.
Not alone, I don't.
Not alone, yeah, fair.
Active. We were sitting in one of the rooms, and there were at one point we were in the section that used to be a school, and at one point there were just footsteps in the hallway, back and forth, up and down, and then we heard. Remember the clapping? Do we have that on EVP? Like a teacher would go. Sort of like the three of us looked at each other like, what was that? And I said, you know how a teacher in my day anyway, to get the attention of a class, they would clap them hands 3 times. That means sit down, be quiet, and listen. And we heard that. It was just absolutely amazing.
Have you guys gone to the Conjuring house at all?
Oh, many times. We're right
Okay.
there. We're right up the road from it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's convenient.
Well,
Yeah.
just
I'm sleeping on property. Last time we were there, we weren't even sleeping. Scott, stop snoring. It's time we got to go downstairs and investigate some more. It was a quiet night. I just kind of dozed off on one of the beds upstairs.
That's the thing. That place, I've only gone there once, and the video is up on YouTube. But it was a quiet night. Like, it was very quiet. However,
yes. Then you
look
look at the evidence.
you look at the evidence, and it's like, I'm sorry, what happened?
Right.
Because we were outside. It was the 3 of us outside by that stone wall, and we had a motion ball going off here and there. Nothing too crazy. And in the footage, it was, if you hear noise, it's my cat trying to get into the room. So you might hear my cat at the door trying to get in. So just ignore. It's not a ghost. It's just a very fluffy cat. So in the footage, you're just, we're investigating, and then you just hear a very strange voice that doesn't match me, doesn't match my partner, doesn't match her friend Danielle. It was a strange voice, and it sounds like a child. And so we're like, what is that? And it's saying something, and it took us a while to figure out what it was saying. And they're like, okay, it's actually asking a question. So what is it asking? And then we showed it to her friend. And as soon as we played it for the friend, we realized, oh my God, it's asking, are you a ghost? So it's like a child's voice asking, are you a ghost? And if you watch the video, it's clear as day. It's strange because my partner, she starts talking and it talks over her, like right before and over her. So for a bit, I'm like, is it her saying it? I'm like, no, because it's talking over her. It's strange. It's like a kid's voice asking, like, are you a ghost? Which pushes my theory that, most of the time it's a potential time slip where it's the universe crossing over, or dimension.
One of the girls asking, right? One of the parent girls asking, "Are you a ghost?" Absolutely.
Or whoever it is, some kids in the backyard hanging out, and hears 3 random voices. Like,
right?
the hell is that? Are you a ghost? Right. And then later on, we were in bed and sleeping. Nothing happened, and we had a camera rolling all night. And I was not expecting a thing. So we're looking at the footage, editing it, and you hear something. What the hell is that noise? And then the camera moves to the left a little bit. And the camera was on the windowsill. Not on the tripod, it was on the windowsill. So I'm like, maybe something gave out. I don't know. So, but it moved a little bit to the left. I'm like, okay, that's weird. It's a little creepy. And all of a sudden, you hear the same noise, as if someone is touching the camera, and then the camera moves big time to the left. So it's as if someone is touching the camera, grabbing it, and moving it themselves, but no one came into the room to touch the camera.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that doesn't make any goddamn sense. I have a theory. I'm gonna see what it is. But I'm gonna lean towards that it could possibly be paranormal. But the skeptic in me has to be like, well, it has to be that's doing it.
Right.
Even though my theory doesn't really make any sense, and everyone gets mad at me for saying,
You know.
yeah, I can't explain it. It was weird. That's one of the strangest things I caught on camera.
Lawrence, I want to give you a couple of minutes just to tell everyone how they can find out about your MONDOdocs, because we're coming near the end of the show, and I want people to know where they can find out more about you and check out some of your work.
Yeah, go to MONDOdocs on YouTube. It's one word. You see my name right there on the screen. That MONDOdocs. There it is. I'm on YouTube and TikTok. I do a lot of paranormal documentaries, abandoned locations. Sometimes not so paranormal documentaries. Did a documentary on a drive-in a couple years ago that specializes in all 35 millimeter print-only screenings, which is very rare for a drive-in theater in the U.S.
What kind
It's a drive-in theater that only screens on 35 millimeter film. So most drive-in theaters are digital. Most cinemas throughout the country are digital presentations. But if you screen their films on 35 millimeter film, which is rare and I think amazing, they're true to being cinema lovers.
It's old school. I grew up with a friend whose family owned a movie theater, and in the day there was a job that was projectionist, because you had to know when to switch over the films. Yeah.
And the drive-in theater that I did a film on, the Mahoning Drive-In, which is not too far from me. But yeah, it's all 35 millimeter presentations. They're amazing people. But I do stuff like that on the YouTube channel. It's mostly paranormal, mostly that kind of, in that realm. But just on YouTube, go check it out. I'm going to Penhurst Paracon this weekend to film a vlog style video. We'll see how that goes. And that'll be up on Monday, hopefully. And then, got a few fun ideas for videos this upcoming summer. So I think, head over there and check it out.
Well, listen, thank you for being here with us.
Thank you.
It's really been great to chat with you. I hope people will check out your information, MONDOdocs. Also, don't forget, everyone, if you are looking for a KGRA membership, if you want to find out all about KGRA and all the shows that they have available, you can go to kgra.com. She's got it right across the bottom of the screen. Use promo code SPOOKY1 to get 30% off your monthly membership, or SPOOKY12 to get 30% off your annual membership. So thank you, Lawrence. And I don't know. I hope I get to investigate with you someday. I know you come up this way. I don't know.
I do. My partner, she's from Massachusetts, Connecticut originally. So we'll come up there.
Yeah, let us know. We'll definitely do something. Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's funny. You're going to Penhurst. I'm going to Ohio.
There we go.
Yeah, so I'll be there.
I'm going to James House in New Hampshire.
I've heard good things about that place. I've heard good things. Ohio, not so much, but James House, it's
next time we
Ohio
talk,
State
we have some stuff.
Icon.
Nice.
We have some stuff to show. I'm telling you, some amazing stuff from James House a couple of years ago. Yeah. So the place, it doesn't disappoint.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. It's so good to see you all. We'll catch you here next week on the Paranormal Project. Thanks again, Lawrence.
Thank you, Lawrence.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend. Good night.
You have been listening to The Paranormal Project with Scott Allen and Julie Finn. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. While you're there, leave us a rating and review so others can find out about the show. Stay haunted and go out there and explore the paranormal.